Good morning, colleagues. My name is Jantemirova and I am a teacher of English in Nazarbayev Intellectual School in Pavlodar. Today I'm going to present you a lesson on independent project, and the lesson starts right now. Good morning, students. How are you today? Thank you, I'm very well too. So, I want to start by asking you a question. Do you know what is a chain? Correct. Yes, today we're going to build a word chain. So, our warm-up is called a word chain. I want you to stand in a circle. I'm going to throw you a ball and tell you a word on the topic of natural disasters or myth and legends. So, let's say I will tell you the word earthquake. So your next word should start on E. Is it clear? Okay, so stand up, please.
Disaster. River. Rock.
Rock. Kingdom. Mudslide. E.
Mudslide.
Mudslide. E.
Eruption.
Nature.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I want you to look at these pictures now. Can you think of a topic of our lesson? What do you think we're going to do today? Okay, thank you very much. You are right. We're going to talk about myths and legends and natural disasters. So, some lesson objectives for today are: we're going to review topical vocabulary. Then, we're going to define the qualities of a good presentation. We will learn and use phrases for presentations. We're going to set criteria for a presentation. And the last one, we're going to explore websites on the topic of choice. Alright, so I want you to work in groups now. Group number 1, you will create an example of a good presentation. And group number 2, you will present an example of a bad presentation. You will have 5 minutes to do this, and then act out your presentations in front of the class. So, time starts. Okay, your time is up. So, group number 1, can you present us an example of a bad presentation?
This, and etc. If you know this, you will find all on the topic and... Oh, sorry. What? Sorry. I'm sorry. So, let's start our presentation.
Cloud cybernetic is very important part of the science.
Children, I will tell you the topic of the day. And topic is natural disasters. Okay, sorry. Yes. No. That was mistake. Sorry. I need to go out.
Oh, okay. And the next theme of our lessons is okay, where is it?
Okay, thank you very much. That was a good example of a bad presentation. So, group number 2, are you ready with your presentation? Remember, you have to show us an example of a good presentation. So, you're welcome.
Your speech should to be clear, and your pronunciation need to be good.
You should face the audience and have eye contact with everyone.
And use body language to explain what you say. What do you say?
The presenter might make eye contact with our auditory.
And you should always smile.
Thanks for the attention.
Okay, thank you very much. So, let's sum up what we have discussed here. So, some tips on giving a presentation. Keep your sentences short and simple. Why is that? Correct, because you want your audience to understand what you're saying. Next one, use standard English. Avoid slang and techie language. prefer verbs to nouns. For example, not the meaning of this is that, but you can use this means that. Again, you should make it more simple. Speak clearly and slowly. Have little breaks in between the sentences to allow your audience to reflect on what has been said. Communicate freely, so don't look at your papers, try to look at your audience. And if you need to illustrate certain aspects of your presentation, is also very good. Remember that you have to keep the attention of your audience, and following tricks will help you do that. You can outline to the audience how your presentation is going to be structured. For example, first I'm going to tell you about this, then I will move on to the topic of that. So you can also enumerate your presentation, like your ideas, for example, first, second, third, etc. Also, you can use a rhetorical question. This will make your audience think that you address them. Also, you can make a joke or quote some famous people to ease up the atmosphere, but don't overdo it because it might have a negative effect. So, let's move on. We also need some phrases to start presentation, to finish your presentation, and following phrases will help you. To introduce your topic, you can use these. I want to give you a short presentation about. My presentation is about. I'd like to tell you something about. I think everybody has heard about, but hardly anyone knows a lot about it. That's why I'd like to tell you something about it. Did you know that? Next one, when you want to change a topic, so subtopic, you can introduce it like this. Let me begin by explaining why or how. First, now I want to talk about. First, now I want to give you an insight into. Let's find out why or how. Let's now move to. As I already indicated, another point is that the roots of go back to began when. Legend has it that, as you probably know. And of course you have a lot more phrases. Let's go through a few of them. Maybe you've already heard about. Many people know. It is claimed that. One can say that. I have read that. So when you use pictures in your presentation, you can introduce them with following phrases. Let me use a graphic to explain this. The graphic shows that. As you can see in the picture, in the next or following picture, you can see. Here is another picture. The next picture shows how. Let the pictures speak for themselves. I think the picture perfectly shows how or that. Now, here you can see. Final thoughts on a subtopic can be introduced with following phrases. It was a great success for. It is a very important day in the history of. It was, or is, a very important special event. This proves that. The reason is that. The result of this is that. It's because. In other words, I want to repeat that. I'd like to add. And of course, your presentation should have a conclusion. And you can go to the conclusion part with following phrases. Should not be forgotten. Has really impressed me. I hope that one day we should not forget. All in all, I believe that. Summing up, or finally, it can be said that. Let me close by quoting who said, "That was my presentation on. I'm now prepared to answer your questions. Do you have any questions?" So, now I want you to work in pairs You have to review the phrases that we talked about and create a mini presentation. It can be PowerPoint or poster. You have to present it in front of the class, but your speech should include phrases from the list. Is it clear? Alright, now you have time to prepare. Okay, so your time's up. Please present your ideas.
We want to give you a short presentation.
About
yoga.
We want to give you a short presentation about morning warm-up.
And you probably know that warm up is a very important part of our day.
I hope that you will do morning up every day.
You probably know that the pollution of the air is the big problem of our generation. People pollute the environment and affect to plants, animals.
This short presentation about Dream of Million People. Now here you can see this dream reporting to the films, cartoons, and another unreal universe.
First of all, I want to say that teleporting is so useful because you can see the films in 3D or you can touch your lovely characters like this.
Okay, thank you very much. You used very good phrases, and I hope you will continue using them in your real presentation. So, as we speak about presentation, you will look at others presenting their work. What do you think is important when they present it? Let's think about some criteria. Okay, your ideas, please.
So most important thing presenter should make eye contact.
Also, the good presentation must contain the simple text and graphs.
In my humble opinion, presenter must have a good body language and clear speech. The presenter must take attention of auditor.
I think the person who will present to us should do eye contact, eye to eye, and the information in his presentation should be clear, understandable, and he should speak so not fast and not slow.
Alright, these were some very good ideas. Let's sum them up on the board. So, some assessment criteria for the presentation itself. The presentation should have a logical structure. Presenters should use topical vocabulary. And the information on the slides is easy to read. Some criteria to the presenters themselves. They have to be positive and confident. They should make eye contact with the audience. They use body language effectively. And they are equally engaged in the process. Do you know what engaged means? Right, you are. So it means that each of the presenters should have an equal part in presenting their work. So, now the most interesting question for you. What are the topics for our presentations? Topic number 1 is urban legends, fact or fiction. What you have to do is create 2 urban legends of your own. Okay? Next one, mythological creatures. You have to create your own mythological creature and write a profile of it. You should tell what it looks like, where and how it lives, what it eats maybe, how it behaves, and include any important information that you feel is important. Also, you have to mention at least 1 short story involving your creature. And topic number 3 is the science of natural disasters. You should choose a natural disaster and explain in your own words how it works. to help you with your project, I found some interesting sites. So if you choose a topic of urban legends, so here are some useful sites that might help you. So the first site is called list25.com. And here you can find most popular urban legends in the form of a video. So let's take a look at a video. So you can see popular legend number 25, and then it will count down to number 1. Also, if you don't like watching the video, you can scroll down the page and look at the text with pictures. So, let's move on to the next site, which is called, let me show you, urbanlegendsonline.com. So here you can find a lot of different urban legends. You can see on the front page, so for example about microwaves or famous people or places. Let's click on one of the urban legends. For example, warning about the Talking Angela app. So you have a window with an urban legend itself and another version of it, because as you know, urban legends are told by word of mouth, so people can change some details and there are other versions possible. What is good about this site is that on the left side of the page there are some categories, so you can browse through them and choose an urban legend of your interest. For example, about bugs and snakes, about cars, celebrities, children, emails, Facebook and Twitter, food. Let's click on that. So you have a page with all urban legends about food. As you can see, there are a lot of them. So these are some sites that might help you when you prepare your project on urban legends. Let's say you want to create a project about mythological creatures. There are also many interesting sites about this topic, so let's look at a few of them. The first site is called mythicalArchive.com, and it is one of my favorite websites actually, because it has a lot of different information and pictures also. So you can browse by name or categories in the search bar at the top of the page. Also, there are categories, creatures by type, creatures by habitat, by association. So let's look at dragons, for example, in the creatures by type section. So if you click on dragon, a page will open with all of the dragons from all cultures throughout the world. As you can see, Loch Ness Monster here, Raitaro or Rahab from different mythologies or religions. So let's click on Loch Ness Monster that we know of. So on the page you see short information like mythology, from which mythology it came, where it lives, its abilities, a book where this monster is mentioned, and from the right side you can see the description of the monster, the legend, the story of this monster. At the top of the page there is a search bar where you can type in any creature that you want to find information about. So let's type Banshee, for example. And you have results. There is a Banshee, let's click on this. Again, from the left side you have short information about it, you have pictures and books and description of the monster. Okay, so let's go back to the front page. As I already mentioned, there are different categories, so creatures by habitat shows us where the monsters live, like mountains and hills, ruins, forests. Let's click on urban areas. let's see what creatures live in the city. So, there are many of them actually, and I didn't know about those creatures that they live in the city. So you can browse through those monsters, find some interesting information about them. Let's go back one more time, and you have creatures by association. So, as you probably know, that monsters are associated with something, like with death or with fear. So these monsters are associated with knowledge and truth and honesty, like a centaur, half human, half horse. So yeah, again, mythology and classification, what is associated with, description, a very cool site. So let's go to the next website, which is called mythicalcreatureslist.com. What is interesting about this site is there are different quizzes for your interest, like you can find out what mythical creature you are and look at top 10 creatures and the beast of the day, look at some images. There is a section with a random beast, again, beast of the day from the left side. Alright, so let's click on images. And here you can see drawings or pictures made by artists or that were found in books and works of some authors. Also, there is an alphabetical search. Let's click on P. So, and here you have a list of all the creatures that name starts on P. And there is a great number of such creatures. Also, there is a common type section and an attributes, so also fun stuff for you to do, like images and quizzes. And also, what I like about it, there is a culture section, so you can choose a creature by culture, like African creatures or Maori creatures. So we clicked on modern day, and again, there is a list of all the creatures that are living nowadays. So, this is this site. And the last one is called mythicalcreaturesandbeasts.com. Here you can also find some useful information for your presentation. There is video and text. So whichever you prefer. If you want to look at the pictures in the video, this is fine. If you want to read the text about the creature, this is also fine. So whatever you find appropriate for you. To the left side, there are pictures of different beasts. As you can see, banshee and wolves. So I clicked on phoenix. So you have here a name, a feature like colors, yeah, and where it lives, and short description of the creature. Alright, so these were some sites if you want to make a presentation about mythical creatures. And the last topic is the science of natural disasters. So if you chose this topic, you might find following websites very useful. So the first one is called weatherquestions.com, and the particular article is called What Causes Tornadoes? Here on this site there is just short information about the nature of tornadoes. If you are okay with reading the text, you can use this site. Next one is called Mother Nature Network, and this is also a site about tornadoes, an article about tornadoes. Here you can see the picture and the text with information about how tornadoes work, where it happens, and what to do if a tornado strikes. With tips how to survive a tornado, so a very profound and useful information here. But also, you can see an interactive part of the site. where you can see how the process works. So you can click on different stages and see the pictures moving and with notes on what is going on a particular picture. So next site is called natural, how stuff works, sorry. And the particular part of this site is called science. You can type in the search bar whatever you want. I typed in natural disasters, and here are some articles about natural disasters that came up after the search. So let's click on 5 tips for thunderstorm safety. And here's an article on how to survive a thunderstorm. You can see 5 pieces of advice. You might find it interesting for your presentation. The next site is called earthquake.usgs.gov, and it tells us about the science of earthquakes. Again, there is a lot of information, written information about the earthquake with some pictures, which shows us different parts and stages of an earthquake. So if you like reading, you can use this site. As you can see, a lot of text, a lot of information. And the last site, which is probably my favorite, let's move on to that one, which is called theguardian.com, and here you can find information on earthquakes as well. But what is good about this site is that it has interactive section. So you can click on the slides, and there are maps and pictures with highlighted elements. When you click on them, there is notes and information about each part, like an earth crust or something. So let's click on the next slide. Again, all the pictures are moving and showing the process, so it's very good for a person who prefers visual aids. So you can see how the plates move, what happens during an earthquake in an interactive form. Here is a map of the world and how it is divided on plates, and how these plates move during the earthquake, in which direction. So it is very interesting to know that. Let's click on the next slide. There is some explanation on what Richter scale is and the magnitude is. And on the next slide, there are scales from 1 to 9, the Richter scale, and how damaging the earthquake is on different stages. This is another picture, another model of a city, and how it is destroyed by earthquake on different stages or of different magnitude. So these were some sites that might help you if you want to make a presentation on natural disasters. So as a result of your work, you will put your presentations on a website that is called VoiceThread. So let me show you how it looks like. So this is the site. You're going to create your own profile here. And here people put their presentations, pictures, videos, interviews, something that they want to share with the world. So let's let's search for something like earthquake. And you can see different presentations and pictures that people shared about earthquakes. Here's an earthquake interview. So be careful. Here is an interview, so people will talk in this.
Okay, so hi, I'm Taylor, and I'm here with my mom, who was in a relatively major earthquake a couple years ago. So when exactly was the earthquake you were in?
It was in February of 2001.
So as you can see, you can also make audio records and create an audio interview. So what we're going to do is to create your own presentations and upload them on this site. You have to add media from my computer or cloud source. So let's upload one picture. I'm going to name it, let's say, Mythical Creatures. Then you have to describe it, describe your picture. An art piece of a mythical dog. And also you can add tags so that people can find your presentation or your picture, and then save it. So here it is, your uploaded picture. If you don't like it, you can either edit it or remove it. So you click on the pencil and you can edit the name or the links, or you can delete it completely. So, when you upload your presentation, your classmates will leave comments to your presentation. Let's see how it is done. So let me choose one of the presentations. Here also the person is going to talk, so be careful.
I normally start my American literature survey.
So you click on comment and there are different options of leaving comments. So you can type a comment with your keyboard. Let's say great presentation. So if you save it, you leave this comment, but we will cancel for now. Then you can make a comment using your phone. You can record an audio comment. You can record a video comment. And you also can upload an existing comment. So this is the site we're going to work with at the end of your work with your presentations. So do you have any questions? No? Then I have a question for you. How do you feel after the lesson? What was easy for you? What was difficult? And what was the most interesting moment of the lesson? So think about it for a moment and then share with the class. Okay, so you can share your ideas if you're ready.
Okay, so what was easy for me is make a short presentation. Difficult was make contact with them persons, and I interested some information about website.
What was easy for me, it's make my web presentation, it's really cool. And second one, is what was difficult for me, it's make a short presentation in a short time. You don't know what to do. And the third one, it's what was interesting. Interesting is actual websites, websites with the urban legends and mythical creatures.
Easy for me. Make a short presentation was difficult warming up, very hard warming up. And what was interesting is mythical creature with website.
So what was easy for me to do that presentation. What was difficult? It was to do short presentation for a short time, and what was the most interesting, and it's know about interesting websites about mythical creatures.
Okay, thank you very much for your ideas. This is the end of our lesson. Your home task will be to choose the topic of your presentation. Think carefully, because you will work on this topic for several lessons. Okay, so do you have any questions? No? Then goodbye and see you next time. Thank you for attention.